And what about ye? And in the garage today, well, nearly in the garage, is an engine which has been donated by Peter Kennedy from Kennedy's Garage, Kennedy's Garage YouTube channel. Check him out. And there we go. He's given this a scrap engine. And the reason why it's scrapped is because he can't get these injectors out. So this is a Renault M9R 2-litre diesel common rail engine. It's in vans and whatever else, a lot of Renaults. And we can see here these injectors are notorious for not coming out. And we can see here, there's this injector here, it's completely, the top's broke off it. This one here is sort of intact. The threads on the top of this M14 thread is pretty good. That electrical connection, it's sort of broke. This one here, he's had a go at, or somebody's had a go at it. There's just no threads on it at all. And this one, let me see if we can get that into focus there. Threads are stripped in that one. So the challenge is, can I get them out? And the answer to that question is, well, I don't know whether I can get these out or not, but I'm going to give it a go, just for, you know, experimentation more than anything, just to see what works, what doesn't work. So she's on this Pirelli here at the minute, and she's a bit, it's a wee bit rocky. So I'll maybe have to strap it for what I'm going to do. Okay, so the one that had sort of half decent threads still left on it, we're able to get this machine here on it, which is a pneumatic slide hammer. And there's no heat, we haven't done anything, you know, I haven't done anything else, just screwed it on, just see what happens. I scribed a wee line on that before I started there, and I don't know where it's moved or not. It might bring this seat part of it out. You know, the seat part comes out with the aluminium head, or it might come out, you know, out of the seat. So the seat's steel, the aluminium head's clearly aluminium, but it depends what sort of gives first. So we'll give that another rattle, see what happens. A few minutes of that, and our line, wee scribe line there, it's still in the same place. So I don't think that the inside bit is moving, but I do think the sleeve bit is coming out of the head, you know. That looked gappier to me, you know, what was it at the start. Give it another go. Okay, so sit wrap. I've done that a few times, and I do think that outer sleeve is moving. I do think it's moving. I haven't sort of seen it move. Anywho, I've changed the setup here slightly. I've put more adapters on it here, you know, to give this sort of more mass, and well, that might cure to kill it. And I've put a wee bit of lube down in here. If going back to my original connection there was too much loosening up with that other contraption, and this one here tightens down on the ejector a lot snugger, I think. But anyway, I'm going to give this a wee dig here down now, and because I think it has moved up very, very slightly. We'll see. Well, partners, I think we're near ready to call that a fail. And the student in the crowd will notice that we have a blue rope on it. That's our emergency fabric cobbled airline whenever the other one decides to give in. And snap. So a bit of a weak point there. Right, I'm going to give something, sort of one last try here before we do something completely different. And seen somebody doing this one time, and the swore bat. Now, not in injectors as stuck as this one or as these ones are, but quite simply, you hit this a good clunk down, you know, before you try and go up. So we'll see if this makes any difference. I did a couple of whacks. See if we can get a couple of good bladders on it.
The Edinburgh socket set. It may not look like much, but this lump of iron was to change motoring history. Here we go. Come on. Oh, yeah, beauty.
I miss that. And that's the adapter screwed. Well, like enough of another one. And sure, we'll be able to fix that up. Hey, here we go again. I've almost given up on the pneumatic slide hammer. She ain't moving. But the threads are still okay. You know, these other ones here, that we can see each side here, you know, the threads have been ripped off them, and the head of that's been ripped off. So that's been done with some sort of puller. You know, so we still have something to attach onto. So what I might do now is I might do away with this here and get a damaging stick and get rid of all this stuff. Come on. And put a bit of heat in this. So I'm going to give this a bit of a cooking here. And well, I have that slide hammer thing out. I'll give it another. Oh, what's going on there? Now normally I would say this is a waste of time because your big aluminium head here, just, you know, it's just a big massive heatsink, you know. So, but I'm just experimenting here. I'm just trying to see what works, what helps, what's a waste of time, that type of thing, you know. And yeah, no doubt we'll get people leaving links to Pilsler tools and all that and all their videos and stuff. Yeah. We're trying to do this with sort of what we have and just experiment. Right, one last chance for this. Right, that's me done with that method then. I'm going to declare that a fail. Although I am convinced that that has lifted that up a wee bit here, you know. So it has moved it, but that's all it's going to do. I've had that thing on for quite a while now. Give it a good chance, more than what I'm showing in the video. So that's all we're getting on. Okay, so this is our setup, but I'm a bit worried about the threads on top of this thing because they have been pulled a wee bit with all that hammering I was doing, but I'll tighten her up here a wee bit. Oh, it's got tight. Put a bit of tension on it. Over our pump there. Just rip the head of it. Lovely. Yeah. That's that thing there. With that top bit of the injector in there. We'll get that out okay. But what do we want now? Plan C? We'll get that bit out okay. There's just a couple of observations. You can sort of see that the steel here, it's very sort of grainy. You know, it's not great. So that is just sheared. The threads, I didn't rip the threads off that I sort of thought would happen. Like the way the other two over here, the threads are torn off them, but this bit is still on. The other thing that I think I'm maybe doing wrong here is I'm hitting it at this side here. You can see that flat spot there where I was hitting it with the gun, you know, the air hammer. But here we'll have the hole for the leak off, and that's the hole for the electrical connection in there. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's actually cracked there. And I think maybe that has sort of moved that over a bit, and then it's assisted with that shear. So that's a crack there. So I need to hit it on the other side where it's solid. So we've got the hot glue gun out, and I've 2 nuts here welded on there. And my plan is this bit of threaded bar screwed into there, and lock her with this nut. Now, I was going to weld the threaded bar in, but we'll see how it goes. We may have to, if it rips it out, we'll do that. But see how it goes. But I'm going to take a slightly different approach on this one. I'm going to try and freeze it. So what I'm going to try this time is this stuff. Quick freeze. And this is for, you know, like plumbers or something. It's for freezing pipes. And what actually is it? It's a refrigerant. So get that in a tin. We'll spray a bit of that on it. So, with the absence of the availability of liquid nitrogen, we'll see if we can get something to contract. Obviously my welding is stone cold, like, otherwise that would be a bit useless. Put a bit of pressure on it and give it a hit with the air hammer. Well, you guys saw that lock nut rattling right up to the top as soon as I put the gun on it, but I didn't notice it. But anyway, I've had to readjust. It definitely lifted because I had to make an adjustment at the top. So I can see that that is up. It's very, very hard to show you in here. It's like a dark hole of Calcutta. So I had to adjust those nuts. So she's definitely moved. Let's see, she might actually just put it up by, yeah. No, she's, I'll tell you what, I think that free spray stuff was the answer. Right, so this is, oh, there we go. That's pretty. This I was going to say there. And oh, one snapped injector. So the nozzle's still in the head. So she didn't come out in one bit then. Oh, there's another bit. There's some muck down in there. Oh. It's coming out in bits. Another bit. Have a wee look down there. Let's see. What have I got? A lot of dirt and a nozzle. So yeah. Well, I think you have to drill that and try and pull it out with a tap or something, but I'm just gonna weld nuts on the rest of these and see how they go. I've put some pigeon droppings on the rest of these here, and we're ready to go with this one all set up. We'll call that Injector 4. This is the gearbox side. So I think, well, that thing there has moved slightly. You see the wee gap? And that wee gold ring thing. That's just to keep the thread bar central, because the center of that plunger is, there's actually threads on it, so I don't want the threads to catch. And that bit of threaded bar, by the way, is an A2 stainless grade threaded bar, so it's not just any, it's just not just mild steel, you know. And clearly all that there is set up to spread the weight. So I haven't put the impact on it or freeze spray or anything at all at the minute. So yeah, a wee bit of tension on it. Oh, and by the way, the that thing there, I did a wee demonstration of it. That does work. I pulled an ejector out of a vise with that. So it didn't come up in camera there, probably because the wee small camera that I had on there was, well, it was getting covered in spray. This weld has sheared. So you see where it's sheared there? The welding is actually sheared there. See there? And there's a bit of the injector. It's at this weak point, with the holes there. So I had, this is the excuse, I had the camera, you know, camera sticking in here, like, so that's where we're reviewing. And again, I was hitting on this side because I could get at it, and that's where these holes are. So they're not actually welded very well into the holes at all, but nevertheless, this is sheared, you know. And then pull the weld over again, put another splodge on it. Right, we've welded the bejesus out of that, and well, I'm going to change tact yet again. I've run out of freeze spray and I'm not buying any more, so I'm going to hit on more so down at the body. You know, don't hit on the welds, hit right down at the bottom with a chisel bit, and there's tension on it at the minute, so we'll see how it goes. So another failure of the welds, and you can see where I was chiseling it there at the bottom, maybe. So yeah, so one thing that I thought would have happened, I thought the threads on these nuts on the threaded bar would have came in before this thing sheared. So you can sort of see, I don't know if it's going to come up in camera or not, you can see the welds are sort of silver in colour. You can see where it's actually ripped, you know. So there is penetration here and there, but it's not good enough on this injector the whole way around. And again, the weak spot seems to be where those holes are, around this left hand side. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a day with that one. Spent far too much time on it. I'm gonna give these a bit of a go. If they don't come, then that's it. Okay, so now we have 3 out, all broken in the same place. I managed to get those tips there out, although there's still a piece left in the head, you know. So the outer bit of work around that nozzle will still be down in there in the head. But let me see if we can see. Yeah, we can see the piston and all that there. I can actually see the outline of the copper washer. Don't know where we can get that up in shot there. Maybe. So anywho, I was going to leave it at that. You know, I was going to say this number 4, to hell with it. It has sheared the weld, but I'm just looking at it. I think I can do better here. You know, these things are coming out with the sleeves, so the injectors aren't coming out on their own, you know. So I need a weld sort of further down the body, because clearly the weak point is where these holes are, and you know, I'm not getting a weld onto it. So I'm going to give this another go, see how I get on. Right, so this is what I've gathered here or learned for myself from doing this. And to be quite honest with you, this is more of a video diary for myself, so I can look back on this. And this is testing my own equipment and my own ideas to see what works and what sort of doesn't work. The threaded bar has held up very well. I thought that would have stripped or whatever, but as I said earlier on in the video, I said it was A2 stainless steel. It's actually not. It's A4. A480 is the grade that I'm using there. And if I look that up on the interwebs, A480 tensile strength of 800 newtons per millimeter squared. Now, what I've found, and I sort of expected this, just to make something sort of clear, this is a scrap engine that has been lying outside in a yard for I don't know how long. Perhaps Peter Kennedy can chime in and tell us, you know, how long this has been lying outside the elements. This has put up some fight to get these injectors out. However, from the timing case back, if you're counting that as number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, they've got progressively more difficult the further along you go. So this one here came out pretty, not easily, but quicker. There was less of a fight, you know, than this one. And then this one, this is the one that had the slide hammer on it. They were all damaged in some way, you know, so I had to sort of overcome that. This one here still haven't got out. So I've had to, you know, try to, you know, put something together here that's going to be really, really strong, that nothing can give, and this can, we'll get this out, I have pretty no doubt. I was using freeze spray earlier on. I think that is effective. I think it is effective, but it's £20 a tin, and you're going to have to use a whole tin on one injector. So I don't know how viable that or not that is. However, this is what I'm going to do with this one, and I think this is worth considering if some of the boys are going to try this sort of thing themselves. Like if you're a DIY or whatever, just get somebody that specialises in pulling injectors out. By the way, the reason why you need to take the injectors out, even if you have nothing wrong with the injectors, this engine, to take this cam carrier off, to take the head off or whatever, so to get at the rockers or camshafts, whatever it is, you need to take these injectors out. So even if the injectors are okay, you know, they're functioning, but I would imagine that normally you're pulling the one injector out or something to replace it because it doesn't work or something like that. However, this engine, I think Peter mentioned to me on the phone, he was looking for a rocker. He needed a rocker, and he's maybe been using it for spare parts. There's no manifolds on it and stuff. Anyway, so the good bit about this is that I'm sort of happy that this is probably the worst case scenario, because this engine has been lying outside. It hasn't been out of a recent running car, if that makes sense. So anyway, this is a wee bit I was wanting to note. So this thing here that I've made used to look like that. This is a drive shaft nut. It's a bit smaller, but there's a, you know, a washer on it sort of thing. So I've cut that down, and the idea is for that to go slide right down as far as it'll go, the bottom of the injector. Now what I was doing with the other ones, and I did it with this one, was I was putting a nut on it, and then I was, you know, you're trying to weld onto the bottom of the injector, sort of below the nut, if that makes sense. The weak point is this upper bit where there's all these holes and the connections were and all that for the, you know, the fuel and the wiring and all. So, you know, I've been tearing this top bit here to pieces up to now, and I haven't been able to get onto the, you know, the body of the injector. You know, if I've really stuck one, which is what this is, we need to get a better catch on it with the welding. So the idea is then this is going to create a platform, and I'm going to weld around here, you know, onto the body, in the body here, and then I'm going to get this bigger nut, and I've drilled out the threads just so it fits. You know, so I'm just using this is just bits are in my scrap box, you know. These are just bits and pieces. So I'm going to put a run of weld around there, weld this to it, and then double nut there, like that, and weld that whole thing together. And if that shears, then, well, I'll get the plasma cutter out or something, just burn it out. But yeah, this is what this is all about. This is purely testing. It's testing my equipment. Everything is held up. The, you know, the hydraulic pump and the hydraulic ram and stuff has all held up brilliantly, and I've been putting some amount of force on here. Yes, just one last wee thing. Most of the boys will probably know this, but the reason why these injectors are such a pig to get out is because the rainwater comes off the windscreen and lies in this trough, you know. So, and the reason why number 4 are, they get progressively more stuck. I think, don't know whether this is correct or not, but the theory is that the rainwater sort of goes this direction. So this is the gearbox side, so maybe the engine's, you know, sitting in a bit of a tilt or whatever, but it tends to, you know, lie this way, you know. So while the engine's sitting a wee bit of an incline with a gearbox here or not, I'm not entirely sure, but that is one of the thoughts on the reason why these injectors are so stuck, and the reason why they get progressively more difficult the closer to the gearbox you get. Finally got number 4 out, and look at that there in there. 3rd attempt, and that was one of my attempts there. It is actually, you know, ripped the nut. So note to self, look at the welding on that. Note to self, changed over to 0.8 welding wire. My MIG welder normally sits with 0.6 in it, and I got up the temperature a bit, you know. So that was epic. I think I've spent enough time in this. So, as a pal of mine would say, or has said, it was time well wasted. Yeah, so the big thing about these injectors and these is to get at the camshafts, rockers, take a head off. You can do nothing of that nature with the injector still in. So I'm just going to take this apart to make it a wee bit easier for me to chuck outside, and then it'll go to the scrap man. See if these are going to come out. Two, three, four. There's the 4th there. Oh, got a problem with this one. So I don't know what was wrong with this engine, but nothing obvious there. Well, I think that's it. That's all I'm going to do. This engine's going to be dumped. So a wee bit different on the cylinder 2 there compared to the rest of them. Has that just been because water has got into cylinder 2 because it's been lying outside, or was that a problem? There's a wee bit of something going on there, maybe, with the head gasket. Was that the problem, Peter? I don't know. Well, anyway. Load of bolts for the scrap box, for the bolt box. And if you want any bits, Peter, give us a shout if you want them rockers or that cam box or anything. Let us know, and we'll get them sent down to you. Right, that's it for this one. Okay, all the best. Many thanks for watching, as ever, and